Hello everyone, welcome to the author's interview of Kitab Writing Publication. So today we have Lalita Minocha ma'am with us. Her book Digital Guardians recently got published with our publication. So first of all, congratulations ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Madhu.
So ma'am, how are you feeling? Your book has got published and now it's live on various platforms.
Yeah, it feels great. I've been wanting to do it for quite some time, and I'm so very glad that it's successfully done. It's an achievement for sure. I feel very happy and content about it.
So ma'am, before we move ahead, I want you to tell our audience, our readers, our writers about your family background.
Yes, my family consists of my husband and my two children, and of course my parents who have always supported me in all my endeavors.
So ma'am, what was their first reaction when they got to know that you have become a published author?
They are very happy about it and they feel very proud of it. They knew that I was in the process of writing it, but completing it, getting it published is a milestone. They're very happy about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, ma'am, I want to know how your writing journey started. I mean, when for the first time you wrote something of your own, and what led you to write something of your own?
See, I have been writing different kind of content. Even as a part of my professional life, I have written case studies, white papers, and web pages. But the thought occurred to me when I was pursuing my PhD. And as a part of my research studies, I studied many cybercrime cases wherein I learned of so many people being harassed over the internet. And cyber stalking, cybercrime, as we know, is on the uprise in all geographies. It's not only in India. I have studied its nature in different countries as well. Unfortunately, this is a side effect of cyber, journey, which is very, very painful to the mankind. So when I read those case studies in cyber cells, that is where the idea occurred to me that I should write a book on these life cases that I'm studying and share it with masses because this would actually be useful for everybody who reads it, and especially youngsters who enter into the world, into the cyber world with no prior knowledge. I mean, there are children as young as 10 years, 11 years old who start using internet because that's the need of the hour. And they end up being a victim of cyber stalking and cyber harassment, which gets very painful.
Yeah.
So that is where I felt that I should come up with a book. And I started to write. But very actively, I started to write just about 3 months back when I signed up with your publication.
Okay.
So I'm very grateful to you guys for helping me publish this book.
All right, ma'am. So, ma'am, did it took only 3 months to write this book?
Primarily, yes. A part of it was ready, but then it was just lying there. It was only when I signed up that I got the momentum to just finish it in a timeline.
Yeah, ma'am. So, ma'am, how did you design your book cover?
The book cover, see, everybody is very protective about their children, and nobody wants to compromise when it comes to children. So, and being a mother of two children, I know how protective we want to be at all the times about children. So, the book cover had to be about children because that's the main objective of the book to protect youngsters, young children from cyber harassment. So, when I saw this, I saw various options, but the option with a child, feeling embarrassed and hiding her face looked appealing to me. And I'm sure that it would also appeal to all other parents who have small children.
Yeah, definitely, ma'am. So, ma'am, during last 3 months, what was your writing schedule? I mean, did you wrote on daily basis, weekly basis, or how?
I wrote on daily basis. I told myself that I have to write at least one page every day because I can't stop this journey because once you stop, it takes a backseat. So after everything mandatory, everybody has prior commitments, even when they start writing a book, and we can't, move back from those commitments. But then I told myself that I have to write, even if I'm very busy, I have to write at least one or two pages so that the momentum is there. And after everything mandatory was done, I wrote a few pages or I edited or reviewed a few pages every day, and that's how it happened.
All right, ma'am. So, ma'am, you have took like The topic which you on which you have wrote is majorly the need of the hour. I mean, I wanna ask, apart from your syllabus books, which one is your favorite book?
Apart from the cerebral book, see, there's one book which is very inspiring, and it's also incidentally one of the best sellers worldwide, which is The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by
Okay.
Joseph Murphy. That's a very, very, very powerful book.
Yeah.
So that's the book which inspires me, because a book is, I mean, if it's treasure, it's great. But if it gives something useful to the people that they can benefit, I feel as a reader, I feel that even if I can derive one useful message from a book, it's worth it. Because sometimes just one idea or one message can change your life for good.
Yeah.
And this particular book that I'm fond of gives so many messages and so many tricks, and it's for the best of mankind. I'm sure it must have benefited so many people, right, in a positive way. So that's the power of writing. That's the power of pen.
Yeah.
So even when I started to write, my intention was to positively impact lives. So even now, if somebody buys, I'll be happy about the purchase of the book, but I'll also be happier about what positive impact it can have on their children.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it talks about people having a very friendly family atmosphere and taking the right actions on protecting their children, so it can actually benefit lives and impact lives in a positive manner. So that's what I'm more happy about.
Yeah. So, ma'am, would you like to share any message which you learned from the book, The Power of Subconscious Mind, to our audience?
The power of subconscious mind, certainly. I mean, it has so many messages. The one which impacts me, or which I carry with me all the time, is to be is to believe that what you really dream is feasible, and to thank the nature, thank the Almighty before it has happened. So that gives you a positive attitude, and positive attitude certainly brings positive impacts in life. I mean, usually people take the other route; they keep waiting for their dreams to come true and then be thankful to the God. But if you start being thankful beforehand, I'm sure it reciprocates.
Yeah, yeah, ma'am.
So,
So, ma'am, if you are asked to take three names who inspired you the most or who supported you the most during your writing journey, then what will be those three names?
uh, people who inspired me the most, um,
It could be anyone from your family, relatives, or someone you admire, like someone like author or celebrity or anyone.
yeah, I mean, I'm very inspired by my father, who's helped everybody around. So he's like a pillar. So he has inspired me. Then my husband has also written a book which is also intended to impact lives in a positive way. And the third person that inspired me, I guess I myself, I adore myself also for what I am. So it always, I mean, however hard the people might push you, but you need to have that drive within you as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess the three of us.
Yeah. All right, ma'am. So, ma'am, now you have become a published author. So, what are your future plans and where do you want to see yourself after 10 years in the writing field?
Uh, 10 years from now, I guess I'm sure I'll be 10 times happier and 10 times more blessed than what I am today. I certainly want to do something more in direction. So I would have certainly written many more books, which would have positive impact, which would impact lives positively.
Okay, ma'am. So, ma'am, what special message would you like to convey to our audience?
The message for the audience, anybody who loves book, is to devote some time, I mean, on a weekly basis, some commitment to read some useful book, not only mine, but any useful book, because there's a lot that every author has to share. Sometimes people try to put their entire life learnings in a book. So I'm sure that there are many useful books around that people can benefit from, and be it digital, be it offline, commit yourself to some book reading on a monthly basis, on a weekly basis, or if possible on a daily basis, as your life permits. I'm sure anybody who writes a book is trying to give something useful. So why learn from your own mistakes? It's better to learn from books.
Yeah. So, ma'am, how was your overall experience working with Kitab Writing Publication?
Kitab writing publication has been good. I mean, it's been quite friendly, quite accommodative. I'm very grateful to Divya ma'am as well. She's been very kind, very supportive, and very flexible. Yes, it's been good. So I'll stick to your publication for my future books as well, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely, ma'am. We would be more than happy to serve you again.
Yeah, it's likewise. Yeah.
So, ma'am, is there any suggestion from your side, or is there anything in your mind, or any service which you want to, which you want us to include in our publication that would make our publication more better? Any suggestion from your end?
Yeah, I mean, if there could be more help on the editorial part, it would be great. I mean, I did it myself, and one of my family member, Shreyas, helped me a lot on that. But if there could be, because not everybody can edit. So, and another aspect is that when we read our own publication many times, after a few readings, our mind stops working on that. So, it would be great if there could be more help to budding entrepreneurs or budding writers on that aspect. Otherwise, it's been very good.
All right, ma'am. We will definitely work on this. So, ma'am, some tips for our audience which you would like to give so we can avoid cyberbullying and the incidences which we have to face due to the excess usage of internet.
Cyber harassment, yes. See, for youngsters, it's very important. One of the very interesting lessons that I learned during my research studies was that, and that's one message that from which parents can, sort of protect their children to a large extent, is to have a very friendly relationship with your children. Because young children often seek for, why do they spend so much time on the internet? One is that parents somehow, if they don't have time for their children, they have a need to talk to people and more so to elders. So if the atmosphere at home is a friendly one, wherein people, if they children, if they face any challenge or any embarrassing moment at school or outside, they should be able to come back and share with their siblings and with their parents. Because if that kind of emotional support is not there, they'll try to seek it elsewhere. And with internet so easily available, they will try to seek such support on the internet, and that is where problem creeps in. Because if they don't find that emotional support at home, they'll try to seek it on the internet or from their friends. And friends and internet are not parents. They will not be protective. They will not do everything right. And we know that there are many disguised personalities on the internet who might take advantage of their innocence and harass them. So that is one very important lesson. And obviously, keep changing the password and all is something that we all know. And not sharing all private information on the internet is something that we talk about everywhere, right? And another very important lesson was that it's very, very surprising that youngsters nowadays are very tech savvy. They are, in fact, more tech savvy than elders and their grandparents and grandparents. Still, many of them fall victim to cyber stalking and cyber harassment. The reason is that they know everything that they should do to protect themselves on the internet. But then when it comes to their actual browsing, they tend to shed their guards and fall victim to it. So parents cannot assume that my child is very tech savvy, he or she will keep changing password and nothing wrong will happen, because they are still children. And there are many, many people who are just sitting on the internet to take advantage of their mistakes. I have studied many cases wherein people, certain stalkers, they actively monitor what children are sharing on the internet, and they're more than willing to take advantage of this information. Yeah. There's a story of a very little 10-year-old girl who fell victim to cyber crime because the parents were too enthusiastic about sharing everything little happening in their lives on the internet. So sometimes even parents want to share every birthday, every cake being cut on the internet. That is also not advised. I mean, as we don't go out and in the physical world, we don't share everything happening at home with outsiders, with strangers. We should also not do that on the internet, because there are all kind of people sitting there just to take advantage of their mistakes. So let's be cautious there. Let's have a very friendly, warm environment at home, that's the best protective guard that parents can take, I guess.
All right, ma'am. So, ma'am, at last, I want you to give some tips on writing, or are there some points which a young writer or writer who has recently started writing should keep in mind while writing?
Yeah, I mean, how I go about writing any piece, not just book, is to start with your objectives. I mean, anything gives us more results if we're clear on what objectives we have. If we start on objectives and the target audience, right? Because everything that we write is for a target audience. So if we know the objectives, if we know the target audience, and we do the right thing, everything should fall in place, I guess.
Okay. So, ma'am, it was really wonderful talking to you.
Yeah, same here, brother.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
we would love if, to serve you again in the future for your upcoming books.
certainly,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. Thank you so much, ma'am.